It's outrageous, it's arrogant, it's excessive, it's larger than life, it's relentless. Flashbackin.
Welcome to the third special episode of Relentless Flashbackin. This is your misogynistic host, Joey Cruel, and I'm talking from the quarantine. It's the 30th of April, and we are on the verge of the lockdown ending. I don't want to talk extensively about the COVID-19 and all its ramifications. I'll talk about it when I'll create the episode about the 2020, but the elephant is in the room, so I have to rant about a thing or two. Out there are the essential workers that can't protect themselves with the quarantine, since they have to work. Then there is the healthcare personnel that is exhausted and that there is continuously at risk. All these people are risking their life. Then there are the people with previous problems. Think about the disabled people, for example. Now their life is even harder than before. Then there are people that hasn't a house. I'm not talking only about the homeless people that are mistreated in our cities. I'm talking also about what's happening in the poor countries. With all these things, there are people that are still complaining about the quarantine. They are even protesting. I pity the fools. Some of them are just bored, and they are saying like crybabies, "I don't know what to do, I'm bored." Aren't they the same persons that were bragging about the wonderful technology with which they were fulfilling their life? They have a comfy home with Netflix, with all those sad and cynic soap operas that they are calling the golden age of TV, and then they have their master, the smartphone. Or maybe they are just telling us that their life is just their job and drinking with friends, and there is nothing else. You know what? I can even understand when these polemics come from people that are over 40 years old, but I'm completely lost when they come from young people. How would they differ from those who are 30 years older than them? They don't care about everything outside their room, what happens in the world, the life of other people. They deal only with themselves. They don't have hopes, illusions, and passions. They are arid. Who cares about consequences? They just want their normal and boring life back. The problem is that if they get infected, they can infect other people, so they will add more problems to the healthcare system. If it wasn't an infectious disease, I would say, do you wanna get sick? Go ahead and get sick, so you will be finally satisfied. And now, dedicated to these fools, here is Get Sick by Suicidal Tendencies from their 8th album, Freedom, released in 1999. In 1987, Nuclear Assault released the EP The Plug, another must-have from this thrash metal band from New York. After the masterpiece Game Over, released in 1986. And now let's listen to the title track. In 2005, Creator released their 11th album, Enemy of God. For sure, it has modern influences, but they aren't prevailing on the Creator sound. So, according to me, it's an album that you should add to your collection. And now here is The Ancient Plug by Creator. Since the current pandemic is the worst global crisis since World War II, I'm wondering if some people will start to deal with the facts. The financial crisis of 2007-2008 is considered as the most serious financial crisis since the Great Depression of the 30s. The September 11 attacks that happened in 2001 are the worst and the deadliest terrorist attacks ever. And then in the 90s, the first Gulf War was the beginning of a 30 30 years nightmare within an infinite series of wars involving the Western civilization with only 1 year and 10 months of peace. In front of all these never-seen-before nefarious events, I'm wondering if some people will still have the courage to say that's only nostalgia, when somebody will say that the 70s and the 80s, despite their shadows and bad stories, were better. I'm wondering when this kind of people will wake up and understand that certain statements aren't motivated by nostalgia, but by these chilling events that we are enduring in the last 30 years. In 2006, Destruction released their 13th album, Under Attack. That's a classic Destruction album that you can buy blindfolded to be crushed by their merciless German thrash metal. And now here is Pathogenic by Destruction. In 1994, Napalm Death released their fifth album, Fear, Emptiness, Despair. If in the first two albums, Scum and From Enslavement to Obliteration, Napalm Death were pioneering grindcore with the masterpieces Harmony Corruption and Utopia Vanished, they shifted to a more palatable death metal. With this 1994 album, Napalm Death were expanding their sound. Some fans were disappointed, but I really like this album. Give it a try. And now it is Plague Rages by Napalm Death. In 1986, Slayer released their third album, Rain in Blood, an absolute masterpiece of thrash metal. There is no need to say how important is this album. And now let's listen to Epidemic. When the lockdown will end, we have to mind that the emergency and the virus are still here. We have to think about the consequences of every action and never underestimate the danger, because it's the first step toward the disaster. Don't believe in what you read on the toxic social media, and don't wait the advice of your government. As you saw, they are unprepared, slow, indifferent, and their first concerns are money and power, not our life. We have to remember that everybody can be infected, and there are also asymptomatic people, so we shouldn't trust anybody, because every contact can be dangerous. Instead, we should listen to science and to our common sense. Only you have the power to save you and the people you love, with social distancing and the protections, because nobody will save you.
You will not be saved by the Holy Ghost. You will not be saved by the God Plutonian. In fact, you will not be saved.
Only you can save yourself. I know that at the end of the lockdown, the pandemic could come back and the economic consequences could be devastating. I hope that I will not have to say, I told you so.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
And now it is Lord of All Fevers and Plague by Morbid Angel from their first album Altars of Madness, released in 1989. With this song, the episode ends. Please subscribe to the channel and follow the show on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. If you want to give your support, please visit Patreon. And remember that you can find a t-shirt for every year on Teespring. Relentless Flashbackin is easy to find, because the name is unique all over the web. As Jack Barton said, I never drive faster than I can see, besides it's all in the reflexes. From the quarantine, over and out.